Deb Lewis is a trailblazer from West Point's first class with women, the first of many extremely stressful situations. A retired Army colonel and Harvard MBA, Colonel Deb commanded 3 U.S. Army Corps of engineer districts, including a $2.1 billion reconstruction program in combat. She survived the attack on the Pentagon on 9/11 while serving on the Joint Staff Anti-Terrorism Team. Called a caring leader by her people, Colonel Deb's experiences offer practical ways to create greater harmony and confidence when handling our toughest moments. Deb, thank you so much for being here.
Aloha. How are you today? I'm thrilled that you are doing this for our veterans. I mean, how important is that? Yeah.
Yes.
I wish I'd had you to transitioning it out of the military. What you're providing is awesome. Thank you.
Yes. Oh, thank you. When I hear people like you, Deb, who've been so successful in the military, I don't know if I've shared with you, but when I left the military, I was defeated. I thought I was a failure. Like, I just thought I did not serve my country well enough because I essentially got fired from like the one thing I've ever been good at, which is social work.
No, but
um,
I would guarantee it was because of an individual who didn't see your talent and didn't help you in any way be your best, right? So
yeah.
all of the women out there who feel like you do, I'll get all teary-eyed, but your potential is enormous. And just by being in the military, signing up for the military, serving any piece of that, because I have classmates who went to West Point and they did not finish West Point, but they were trailblazers nonetheless. We have to understand, if you don't try, how will you know? And when you know, what do you do with that? You can either be defeated or you can use that to be stronger. They say that when you get a scar, the area is actually stronger than it was before you were scarred. And in the military, when you get cut by the enemy, that unless you're dead, just keep moving,
Mhm.
keep moving, and because you want to survive. So all the same things you learned in the military are so valuable in the civilian sector.
Yes. And one of the things that resonated with me the most is this idea of mentally toughness, the skills to handle and contain our emotions.
We tame it. We don't,
Yes,
it's like a
tame it.
horse. I ride horses. You do not break the spirit. You do not put it in a box. You tame it and use it. It's just like if you have a horse that wants to run that way, when you can tame it, it'll go in your direction and help you achieve what you want. We all have different skills. And I want you to understand one thing that really, I didn't get it, because the world will say, oh, what you do, you need to niche and say only this. And I do agree that there is my perfect audience, which is the women veterans and the women out there who are working hard to try, that they haven't given up. The ones that really know that if they only had a certain bit of knowledge, I bet that they could do so much more because they want more and they know that they're capable. Well, maybe they don't know they're capable of it, but I'm going to show them. They
Yes.
we are using probably 5% of our potential. And the
Agree.
military gave us a little edge because we were trained in all these things that's used typically a men's world. But the thing is that when you can use that, realize that absolutely everyone needs it. Every age. I have now briefed everyone from elementary school. I just did a session. It was a workshop half day with middle school girls who have some of the lowest self-esteem issues. They all feel that way, but they don't have any tools. And
Mhm.
just being an inspiration, how many people does it take? I usually say to derail your team, but really it's how many people does it take to pull you through and give you that inspiration? It only takes one. And if you
Mhm.
can be that one to person, oftentimes your family, you can't be that one for that person because you're so close, right?
Yes.
So, but so we can be the role models because everybody's watching what we do. But I've taught high school, I've taught those who made bad choices and didn't graduate high school and now are working on it, a program called Youth Challenge. And I've talked to HR people who are hiring the women veterans in the
Mhm.
businesses to try to help them understand what's happening. And also, I just did AARP, the retirees. And I'm telling you, we all need that boost to say, we have so much potential. Now we'll get into the questions, right? Because the questions will help at least so they don't need. I've been doing this since I retired. I was out 12 years. 2 years we did a tour, 50 states with my husband. He rode a bicycle 18,000 miles for veterans and and people. And I along the way helped people, and it just kept improving my skills on how can I help veterans in general. But we finished that and found the ideal place in Hawaii. So I'm also a refuge for people who want to come out, and I love to show people they can handle it. They're more than up to the task, and they probably can do backflips at the same time.
Yes, I love that, Deb. And honestly, one of the things that has helped me grow and overcome that thought, that feeling of defeat, is writing about it. And once I started writing about it, I started small. I wrote about it in um, a book publication just for women veterans, essentially, or women looking to join the military. And I talked about my emotional turmoil, and that was in Behind the Ring Volume 3. So I found that community support and safety. Then as I moved on, I was like, okay, I'm feeling confident in my abilities. I see that my community is interested in what I have to say. What else can I write? And so that's when I connected with you.
And we quite frankly often have a hard time asking for help, and help looks different for each of us. So for you the writing was beneficial. I'm not so much a writer, I'm more a talker.
Mhm,
So, and even that, because I sat down and I said, I've been in the military, I can sit down, I can write my own book. Now, I can write chapters, I can do those kind of things because I have friends who are great editors and they talk to me about it. But writing a book is very difficult. And as you know, I ended up with my first one being this book, which is a children's book and so much more. And yet I fought it. I fought it because of I would just hope that people just say, stop thinking about what the box looks like and other people, how they define it for you. What do you define it for? And so for me, I now, 10 years after working on it, I'm in other books because it was easy if someone else was putting the book together, like you putting together this summit. It was easy. So do it. So you get yourself out there. Go and get involved with whatever your passion is. Yours is helping the women in the ways that you just described. And for each of us, we have a little different slant, but together we're a community and can lift each other up. And I think it's wonderful. So you don't know where you're going to get the support, but if you put out that intention, the other thing is in writing, even if you only write to yourself, know what you're saying to yourself.
mhm,
Because if you're not, if you don't even understand what's happening, like what's your like, I call it Tourette's and I have nothing against, but it's that automatic knee-jerk kind of reaction where you see a situation, what are you saying to yourself? If it's
mhm,
positive, keep on it. If it's negative, you want to try to figure out what's most important to you, because if you're going to be spewing negative stuff, you're making yourself toxic as well as everybody around you, and they're going to run away. So writing is important. If you can work even 5-10 minutes of writing a day in the morning when you're just like an open book, you can maybe come to some idealization or ask yourself a question. I like doing that. This helps me
mhm.
more is if I put a question up and then I try to answer that question. And
Yes.
sometimes I have to again trick myself. What if you ask me that question? I have a much easier time than if I look at it at writing. So each of us have strengths and each
Mhm.
of us have challenges. And the challenges are actually opportunities in disguise. And I'm an engineer, so I'm going to figure out a way. I know that I can talk into my phone. Your phones are, if you're a talker like me, you can go into your, if you have an iPhone, you can talk into your iPhone or borrow someone's and be able to transcribe whatever you're talking about. My method is I write it, then I transcribe it, and then I go into full edit.
Just like you, I handwrite things first and then transfer it in my own way, which is the computer, because then that triggers my brain to be in edit mode. And then, like you said, a lot of people who aren't good at identifying like this emotion, this sentence creating emotions that are making me feel not great. How can I readjust that? How do I identify it so I
Really
can
going, yeah,
readjust
what
it?
can I figure out what's going on, or maybe I need some help. But the other thing that you touched on is because I'm a talker, and when I went on the tour, I tried to write, but I never had time. I got so exhausted. So I got a little tape recorder. There's a number of tape recorders that you can plug right into your computer to download that information if you don't use your phone. I like to have a separate recorder because then I can organize the files better. But you
Mhm.
can do that and just whatever works. I mean, that's the
Yes.
thing. What do you want? What do you want to achieve? I mean, that got to ask the question, what is it you want to
Yes.
achieve? Like, I want to share what I learned with other people. If
Hmm.
I do it verbally, it's a much more limited group of people I can influence. If I
Hmm.
do it in writing, that's probably a more as a separate entity, more that I can reach. But if I do both, then I can start doing courses. I can start doing all kinds of things to teach people what it is that I want to do. And not everybody wants to go off independent. They want to join a firm, but a lot of the same principles are at play here. And that's
Hmm.
just, it's just a matter of understanding yourself. And I quite frankly played for 10 years to come to where I am. But you wanted the big business idea turning into reality. Most of
Yes.
us are servant leaders. I mean, we went into the military, very few went in for money. We didn't go in for money. But we found out that we never had to worry about money usually because we were in the military.
Yes. I
Right?
literally just wrote that paragraph down.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
writing
yeah,
writing
yeah.
right now.
So that has been my hardest transition is doing it because I thought, oh, I have these great ideas. I'm just going to have this happen. If I share this, I know they're life changing. They continue to be life changing from the time I started. People come back years later and say, wow, I changed what I was doing because of what I heard you said, not because I told them, but it sparked an idea in them that then got them thinking, oh, okay, I can do that. But asking for money, I can ask for a charity. I'm doing that now, for Veterans Day parade. I've already raised like $7,000 in about 2 weeks. But if I'm going to get paid, it's another story. And I'm working on that. And I just got paid for a big gig where they gave me $500 to give the talk, and then they paid me $3,000 to my charity. For really needing to earn a lot of money, I'm not your gal. If you feel you have a base, because mine took a longer journey. You can still do this in the evenings, you can still do the things that I did, but at least I had that space to be able to do it because
Yeah.
my goal was to make a bigger impact after I left the military than the 34 years of trailblazing I did in the military. So that was a big challenge, but I'm telling you, I'm on my way. And I'm
Yes.
so excited about what's happening. So that was it, trying to help people. And the simple answer is my talk to the group that you have is that it's our job to bring out the best in everyone. It's leadership. It is the best dynamic because relationships are what matter the most in this world. And if you are constant, people trust you, you don't explode, you're at your best, you figure out how to deal with that. It's not you're hiding it, you're just dealing with it. And you're
Hmm.
not taking it out, and you understand that your energy affects everyone around you. Most of us learned that in the military. We
Hmm.
understood that because we had missions to do and you couldn't mess, but not everybody. But that was it. So I'm still working on that, but I'm always getting closer, and everything I've done, never think that what you've done in the past is not building on what you are in the future
Yes.
if you stay true to you. Kind of this
Hmm.
book. This book I'm now using, I want to say 6 years after I created it, is
Hmm.
now, 4 to 6 years after I created it, I realized, oh my gosh, it is the essence of what I wanted to do. I wanted to train people in what I had learned and make it as simple that a child could understand. Did I want to write this book? I didn't have that in mind. And I wanted to make it fun. If you're not having fun at times, maybe you don't always in your work, but you ought to be able to stop, do a reset, and make sure you do that. And so,
Agreed.
yeah, transforming it into a big idea, that I have done everything. If anyone wants to talk to me about all the many things, I am an obsessive learner. I want to learn it. And getting to the third one, what's one thing you didn't know, is that you don't have to do everything at once. I have probably spent $50,000 in 10 years on my education. But the learning has been steep, but many people will take your money and you'll not have the outcome you thought you were going to get from them. They'll entice you, they'll say they have it, and then they'll blame you because you didn't. Where I find that we lose it is the unmet expectations. We have very high expectations of ourselves. And anytime we're not making it, I mean, we don't even need someone else to say something to us, right? We can hit ourselves on the head all by ourselves because we haven't been doing whatever we think it is. And so when we get really frustrated at that stage and know we're going to lose it because we know we have this tremendous potential, or our body knows, even if our brain doesn't, right? And so it wants to get it, you think it's a straight line to success. It's never been a straight line. It's not been that way in the military. And every time you are turned some way, you can learn something. And it's probably vital. And if you don't learn it, you're going to keep learning it because you're going to be stuck there. And so the unmet expectation I found was under extreme stress. And so for those women who are interested, we've talked about this. I have a free course that is online. I will keep it that way, and I may put it on different platforms, but this course is about how to handle extreme stress. And I go into much more detail than we could go here, but it at least says when you have unmet expectations and you find yourself frustrated, as soon as that happens, you're digging yourself either a big hole or you're running in the other direction.
And I thank you so much for sharing your awesome, wonderful experience and wisdom. There are definitely women out there who are in the military, transitioning out of the military, or have been a veteran for a decade or more, who could benefit from several of the nuggets that you have dropped today. So thank you so much for being here.
You created the platform, my dear, and that is not my skill. You did a beautiful job. You said you were going to do it. You carried it out with precision, and now you're making it happen. I'm so proud of you. And you may not be able to get everything all at once, but you can have it all. You, Siobhan, you have that capability. And
Thank
so
you.
we just need to let you soar, give you that fuel, and it'll be great. And so your passion, very particular. I'm helping 1 million women, and you're helping 1 million women veterans make like $1 million, right?
Yes, that's
And
the goal. That's the goal.
imagine when we're successful in that. So that's why we're joining forces. And anyone who is interested in something like that as a passion, come see us. And especially you in building that, and we can do it together. Okay?
On that note, I'm going to say thank you and take care. Talk to you soon.